evening, viewers. Welcome to this session. We've got a lot of news that we'd like to share with you. So let's start with the first piece of news. And we're talking about what's happening with Rahul Gandhi and Sanatana Dharma and his attack. Now, Varanasi FIR has been put against Rahul Gandhi, Pappu Yadav and Avdesh Prasad. So you'll be asking what has happened. A fresh political controversy has erupted after Varanasi police registered an FIR against Rahul Gandhi, independent MP Pappu Yadav and Samajwadi Party MP Avdesh Prasad over a satirical skit performed during an opposition protest on the parliament premises. Now, what exactly triggered the FIR? The controversy stems from a skit in which the opposition leaders allegedly portrayed the theft of donation meant for the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. According to the complainants, the performance mocked the temple, hurts religious sentiments of Hindus, and insulted Sanatana Dharma. The complaint was filed by seers and lawyers in Varanasi who argued that the skit crossed the line between political satire and religious insult. Acting on the complaint, Varanasi police registered an FIR and began an investigation. Now, the BJP has accused the opposition of repeatedly disrespecting Hindu beliefs and using parliament as a stage for what it calls anti-Sanatan politics. Now, party leaders contend that criticism of alleged financial irregularities should not involve symbolism associated with Ram Mandir or Hindu faith. Separately, a BJP delegation also approached Delhi police seeking legal action against the same leaders over the parliament protest. Now, the opposition leaders have maintained that the skit was intended as a political satire aimed at raising questions about allegations regarding Ram Mandir donation funds, not at insulting Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. Now, Pappu Yadav has strongly defended the protest, saying he's prepared to face legal consequences and insisting that asking questions about public donations is not a crime. Now, the controversy intensified after Pappu Yadav was targeted during a press conference where a slipper was thrown at him. He alleged that there was a conspiracy against him and linked the incident to the ongoing political row surrounding the Ram Mandir donation issue. Now, what is going to happen next is that with the FIR now registered, police are expected to examine video footage, witness statements, and the contents of the performance before deciding on further legal action. This case is likely to become another flashpoint in the continuing political battle between the BJP and the India bloc, particularly over issues involving religion, political symbolism, and freedom of expression. So now, what I told you earlier also was that, see, there is a very clear agenda to hit at Sanatana Dharma through every angle, whether it is the LOP and his, his party members or opposition members. So this skit, they say it's only a skit, but you know how venomous they are. So this is one way of attacking Lord Ram and the Ayodhya temple. Okay. Second thing is attacking Prime Minister Modi, who they see as a tall Hindu leader. Now, third thing, which we spoke about yesterday, was that is Ramayan really, the makers, a desire to make a very clean movie about our sacred books and our history? There also we see a lot of mockery that is going on, but there is a far more devious, angle to it, which I spoke to about yesterday, and I will speak about it today as well, because there are a lot of comments coming into social media, that is Twitter, saying that there is a very, very devious agenda to this as well. So in every way, in every angle, they are attacking, Sanatana Dharma, and this is something that is very, very, sort of upsetting. Now, Abhijit Dipak, seems to be regretting his interview. So let me just get on to that picture. Yeah, so Abhijit Dipak must be regretting doing this interview where the reporter says, sir, are you not receiving any messages from Jharkhand students? I just saw an interview where an ST student was asking you to come there and help them. And Abhijit said, yes, I've been receiving many messages. We'll surely look into this soon. BJP used its source to file an FIR against my father, who has no connection with this. I'm currently dealing with it and trying to get it removed. And then the reporter says, sir, many children of the Delhi police officers were crying on national TV after their fathers were beaten and hospitalized. You haven't addressed any of them, but when it is your father, you are focused only on him. Can you imagine what those kids went through? Abhijit says, look, that was not done by me or my protesters. It was done by goons. Then the reporter says, sir, the FIR against your father was also not filed by BJP or Modi. It was filed by someone else. So why does the blame go to BJP? He had no reply, so he started making that annoying face again. And, so this is something very, very funny. In fact, friends, I'd like to also talk about another, case. So let me just go to the lady's image. Yeah. So we'll talk about this lady. Now, just let me go to her name. Yeah. So we're talking about this particular lady. So one second. Yeah. Arpita. See what happened during the CJP protests at Jantar Mantar, which was, located in the heart of the national capital recently, which witnessed a massive protest against the NEET UG paper leak. Now, there is this girl called Arpita, okay, and this is her face now, and apparently, CJP protest was heavily infiltrated by Pakistan-backed jihadis. Now, the West Bengal police have arrested a terrorist named Hamim Mondal and his girlfriend Arpita Sarkar. Hamim is a part of an ISI-backed module tasked with gathering intelligence on BJP leaders, recruiting operatives, and preparing the ground for terrorist attacks in Bengal. Hamim and his girlfriend Arpita used to communicate with 4 Pakistani handles, Abir, Uzair, Rana, and Hamad, through encrypted messages apps such as Telegram. Now, these handles are linked to Pakistani gangster cum terrorist Shahzad Bhatti's terror network. Arpita was also involved in honey trapping influential figures and blackmailing them to extort money. Her cover was that of a social media influencer. During CJP protests, Hamim and Arpita were instructed by their handlers to buy police uniforms, dress up several men in those uniforms, and go to Jantar Mantar. The intention was to foment trouble at the site, instigate violence and anarchy, beat up and kill student protesters, and turn it into a bloodbath. However, since both were already on STF's watch list, they were arrested before they could put the insidious plan into action. Arpita is 22 years old. She has been in a relationship with Hamim since 4 years. This means that Hamim trapped her when she was 18 years old and then groomed her over the last 4 years into a full-fledged terrorist and career criminal. She had already honey-trapped the son of a Bengal minister and was extorting money from him. Arpita is quite well educated. She is an English honors graduate. However, due to her relationship with the jihadi, she spiraled downwards into a dark pit. Her life is effectively over at the age of 22. So this is something very, very, people have been suspecting this, but this is the kind of quality of the people who had come for the protest. We don't even know who they are, from where they came, and whether they really were students at all. And perhaps now I feel that the reason why Modi, decided to end it very fast was because he anticipated some kind of problem from these kind of people. So it's very obvious that he wanted, everything to come back, life to come back to normal. He wanted people to be safe. Again, here, I'm telling you that Modi ji wanted to take care of his people. And instead, he was attacked and he was abused. So let me just take a few, sort of points coming in. Sunita says if any such things are done in other community, there would have been doldrums by now. She's talking about the kind of skit that Rahul Gandhi and the other opposition were doing? Welcome, Gloria. Very nice to see you. And Sunitha says, yeah, thank you so much, Sunitha. Very sweet of you. Now, going back to Sanjay Dutt. Now, yeah, moving back to Sanjay Dutt. Now, Sanjay Dutt seems to be having some sort of dejection. And let's go to what he has to say. Now, he believes the Hindi film industry has changed a lot since he began his career. Looking back at his journey, the actor said Bollywood is no longer, together, and instead they have become far more competitive. In an interview, he said earlier the industry felt like a family, but now it has become completely, broken up. Earlier, everybody was together, everybody was helping each other. Now it's become much more cutthroat, much more competitive. It's sad, but I hope it comes back. And he feels that in Hollywood, people are together, they are friends. It's competitive, but it's very together and healthy. Over there, everyone is united. The actors are together, the writers are together. There are industry bodies that support everyone. Even at the Oscars, there's so much togetherness. Whenever an actor goes up to receive an award, there's no jealousy. You can genuinely see everyone celebrating each other. It's beautiful. On the work front, he was last seen in Akhri Sawal, directed by Abhijit Mohan. The political drama also starred Namashi Chakravarti. The actor is preparing now for the iconic Balu in Khalnaik Returns. He announced a sequel earlier this year. Now, moving back to the CJP, we're talking about the cockroaches. After an RTI was filed for an inquiry into the funds for the Cockroach Jantar Party, particularly Abhijit Dipak's education in the United States, the online outfit has responded and called for a probe into the PM Cares Fund. On Sunday, a Surat-based RTI activist, Amit Tiwari, sought an inquiry into the finances of CJP founder Abhijit Dipak's father, Bhagwan Rao Dipke, who is a retired Maharashtra government employee. Tiwari told reporters that he had raised a complaint and questioned how Abhijit Dipke was able to attend Boston University from USA. I've complained to the Maharashtra government that Bhagwan Rao Dipke was a junior engineer at MIDC. So if he received a salary of say 60,000 or 65,000, how was he able to afford the education of his children in the US? Tiwari also called the government to investigate and take strict action in case of disproportionate assets. Now, CGP founder Abhijit rejected the claims made by the RTI activist during the interview with Barkha Dutt. Speaking to her, he said that he attended Boston University on a scholarship. Now, my education was funded by a scholarship provided by Boston University, and I had taken some education loan which I used to have to pay back now, he told Barkha, while also revealing his scholarship letter from the US-based university. Now, Vaishnavi Gaur also responded, accusing Tiwari of targeting a private individual, and those who file RTIs into a private individual's education should take a look at the PM Cares Fund too. Modi ji will forgive you too, don't worry, is what these people Gaur wrote on social media platforms. So whatever you ask them, whatever you will speak to them, they go back to Modi. So Modi is the one who is actually the culprit according to them. Now, very interestingly, now another piece of story. I don't know if you all remember this man. Now, let me go to Satish. This man. Now, welcome, Priyanka. And Sunita says it was utterly in bad taste when some guy posed as Gen Z talked nonsense about Modi ji's mother and about Lord Ram. Why did the opposition keep quiet and they are so insensitive? A person named Shafi supplied food daily to all the so-called protesters. He was definitely funded. Why nobody is talking? Yes. So what has happened is that guy has been applauded by, none other than Akhilesh Yadav. He's treating him like a hero. So this is also going on in between. Now let's speak about this guy. I don't know whether you noticed this man. He came in a sort of serial called Dubai Bling, where he's seen as one of the richest Indians in the UAE. So now apparently UAE authorities have frozen the assets of Satish Sanpal over a money laundering probe and the action is part of an ongoing investigation. The case has drawn significant attention in the UAE. So he was seen as a prominent Indian origin entrepreneur, businessman, and real estate developer based in Dubai, United Emirates, living in the Burj Khalifa. And he was seen with a lot of these, television artists in the serial Dubai Bling, and they were praising him and talking about how great he is. Now he is the founder of and chairman of Anex Holdings, which encompasses ventures across real estate, hospitality, and capital investments. Now, investigators and financial analysts frequently look into large-scale commercial deployments, whether in real estate, digital assets, or high-budget media production, to trace the underlying provenance of funds. In Sanpal's case, the convergence of his public persona from Desi Bling, long-standing legal challenges originating in India, and the recent decisive move by UAE regulators have turned his business dealings into a focal point for international and tracking, international asset tracking and compliance reviews. Now, who is this man? You would have seen that he is married to a Pakistani lady and he has a small kid. Now, apparently, Satish was a school dropout from Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. And Sanpal left studies after class 8 and started a small grocery shop at age 15 with rupees 50,000 given to him by his mother, according to news agency PTI. The venture shut down within 2 years. He moved to the UAE roughly 11 years ago and began helping clients connect with stock market brokers before branching into other businesses. His first business venture was the technology and real estate sectors. He later entered the media and hospitality sectors with his, he also established alliances with leading hotel chains, which propelled his venture to greater heights. Now, in 2018, he founded Anex Holdings, a conglomerate reportedly valued at around 3 billion, which now comprises developments, hospitality, and capital. He is reported to have invested in undervalued Dubai properties during the COVID-19 pandemic and have since multiplied in value and owns a 120 million mansion in Dubai Hills. He resides in Burj Khalifa and has previously denied media allegations about his business dealings, in detail. In May, the Delhi High Court has observed that he has been prematurely labeled a culprit in media, even though the official investigation remains ongoing. He has been married to Tabinda for 9 years and the couple have a daughter. He also has 2 sons from his previous marriage. And something I found very interesting in that Dubai Bling was that this lady actually massages his feet every day for him, and they always say that, she's so happy because he gives her everything that she wants, which she means financially. Now, the UAE's Financial Intelligence Unit has ordered a temporary freeze on the assets of Satish, the 41-year-old Dubai-based Indian origin businessman who stars in the Netflix docu-soap Deshi Bling. In this Bling also you have all those characters who you see in this, the Ekta Kapoor serials. Now, it has been frozen because it forms a part of a money laundering probe. Now, the FIU order issued about a fortnight ago directs banks, financial institutions, and virtual asset service providers in the Emirates to freeze his financial accounts and digital wallets, and extends to accounts held by his wife, Debinda, and companies linked to the couple. You're immediately requested to freeze any funds or accounts or deposits or investments and deny access to the safe deposit boxes, the FIU communique said, according to Economic Times. So, under UAE law, banks and BASPS must lift the freeze after 30 days unless the FIU issues an extension which requires explicit authorization from the Attorney General. Sanpal could not be reached for comment and it was not confirmed whether he was in the UAE. Now, this guy, so now let me just go to also another piece of news that I was just reading. And apparently he had 8 FIRs, 1 SIT, no ECIR. So, in an article in this paper, which is Business World, it is said, why is India asleep on Satish Sanpal? Now, UAE is now frozen his assets, as we mentioned. So now this paper has given even more details, and they say that Sanpal is a Dubai-based star of Netflix Desi Bling with wealth in excess of 3 billion. He is also an accused in 9 criminal cases in Jabalpur, is what they say. The subject of an active lookout circular confirmed by the Delhi High Court, and a pending complaint asked the Enforcement Directorate to examine for links to the Mahadev betting ecosystem. The same ecosystem whose 940 crore trail the ED has traced all the way to NASDAQ Nasdaq acquisition. Whether the link exists is precisely what an investigation is for. The trouble is that on the record, the investigation into him by name has barely begun. And the timeline suggests it is not for want of evidence, it's for want of urgency. Now, his passport logs his final exit from Mumbai on March 2020. The lookout circular has that ordered airports to stop him was opened up in August 2022. Nearly 2.5 years later, by the time the flag went up, the man was long gone, resident in Dubai, and by November 2021, holder of self-sponsored 10-year UAE golden visa. Now you understand the golden visa thing, valid to 2031. The cases against him were building through all of it. Who, in that window was watching the exit? An LOC that arrives 2 years after the departure is not a net. It's a formality filed after the fish has left the pond. Now, I think this man is talking about this first wife. His wife, Sonia Sanpal, is not an ambiguous figure in the file. She is judicially, this is the first wife. So she is judicially declared proclaimed offender in a Jabalpur betting case, declared a fugitive on 3 October 2023 with 1,000 rupee reward on her head, accused in the court record of routing 352 crores through a fake shell company. And yet on the 9 December 2024, she obtained anticipatory bail from a Jabalpur court without setting foot in India. A sessions judge later recorded that she had not even filed her own affidavit and that her conduct amounted to abuse of the process of law. If a proclaimed offender can litigate remotely from Dubai and walk away with bail, what exactly does the proclamation mean? And why did the state's own machinery let it happen before the higher court caught it? Now, see, these are all, there's so much detail that's going into it. Here is a lever that was always available. Now, in Sanpal, secured a golden visa to travel, and as per a complaint before the Jabalpur authorities, to have his affidavits attested at the Consulate General of India in Dubai, so his lawyers could fight his case while he stayed abroad. So you see, there's so much going on with this man, and it's very strange that he has not been caught. So friends, this is really, so whoever, this Netflix promotes is someone that you have to see, with suspicion, because he lives in Burj Khalifa and he proclaims that he is the richest man in UAE. So it is, so let's just take a few comments. Shiv says BJP is not coming out of its overconfidence. They lost by-election Bihar and MP. Will the government table FCRA bill? And Sunita says, what Sanjay Dutt quoted is starkly true, not just in Bollywood. I heard many yesteryear actors and actresses say that a majority of them just sit in their vanity vans and just come out for a shot and get back into their vans. Previously, most of them sat together under trees sharing meals, but that is a thing of the past in Bollywood too. Now, moving on to what I had earlier spoken about, and we are talking about Ramayan. Yeah. So now the doubts about the movie is actually growing louder. So when you talk about, if you're talking about Nitesh Tiwari's upcoming 2-part adaptation of Ramayan, which has been widely reported to carry an unprecedented budget crossing of 4,000 crores, approximately 500 million, the social media accusations of money laundering takes on a very specific tone. A lot of the social media users are saying this is leading towards money laundering. Now, the internet skepticism isn't just about general film economics. It targets the sheer astronomical gap between historical Indian film budgets and this figure which rivals Hollywood mega franchises like Avengers and Endgame. Now, also you remember, friends, that these people are touting that this is a global movie, and that's why they are even doing press releases outside. Now, netizens and box office analysts frequently point out that to break even on a 4,000 crore production budget across two parts, because they are planning to make Ramayan two parts, the film would realistically need to gross nearly 8,000 crore globally at the box office once theatre cuts, distribution fees, and entertainment taxes are factored in. Now, I don't know whether they are using Ramayan as a tool for money laundering, from what these people are saying on on Twitter. Now, because no Indian film has ever crossed the 2,500 or the 3,000 crore mark worldwide, social media users argue that producers know the film mathematically cannot recover these costs through standard ticket sales alone. This leads internet sleuths to question why risk a self-funded or privately backed multi-thousand crore investment unless the primary objective isn't traditional box office profit. So that would be the obvious question. Now, a primary target for the online speculation is the involvement of massive international visual effects pipeline and studio infrastructure such as Namit Malhotra's Prime Focus and DNEG. Critics on platforms like X and Reddit allege that when production houses route massive tranches of capital across cross-border entities, overseas shell services, and high-end tech developments like proprietary AI tools and international hires, it creates an opaque financial ecosystem. The argument goes that heavily inflated invoices for technically services rendered abroad are an ideal vehicle to move large amounts of capital internationally. Now, I hope you understand, friends, what is happening here. So are they faking numbers? Are they faking invoices? So all this you have to really look into. And now, if you talk about the star remunerations, you have Ranveer and Yash and the other actors. So reports surrounding the film highlight massive actor payouts such as Ranveer Kapoor commanding upwards of 150 crores across both parts, and Yash, who is also co-producing, taking a substantial stake. And recently, I heard that Ranveer Kapoor had bought a lot of land in Ayodhya. Okay, this is other than the properties in Mumbai. Now, social media commentary often cynically views these eye-watering figures as accounting tools. In theory, high-profile contracts can be structured to justify massive capital outflows on paper, while back-end profit-sharing agreements or multi-layered corporate associations redistribute funds away from standard domestic tax visibility. Now, a recurring sentiment in online discussions is that historic epics act as a foolproof shield against immediate public scrutiny. This is what is happening. They're using Ramayan, as a foolproof shield against immediate public scrutiny. But many people online have realized that even Ramayan is being used, perhaps, for money laundering. Now, this has to come out. Now, social media users argue that mounting a project centered around a deeply revered epic guarantees immense emotional investment, patriotic fervor, and packing opening weekend theaters. Critics claim that wrapping a project in cultural grandeur lowers the audience's willingness to question financial logistics, as any criticism of the film's production choice is quickly misconstrued as an attack on the subject itself. So what they're basically saying is that people will be too scared to even question the financial, kind of logistics in this movie because it is a religious movie. Now, while the money laundering narrative makes for viral social media threads, industry insiders attribute the 4,000 crore figure to a few structural realities. So what they are saying is it's a very huge, two full-length feature films, the budget isn't for a single movie, and it has been shot back to back for in several years, involving extensive pre-visualization, global crew onboarding, and Hollywood grade post-production pipelines. So all this fluff is to tell you that everything is being done in the proper way. And also the marketing and inflation game. Producers often pool total lifetime franchise costs, including global marketing, multi-language dubbing, and ancillary rights into one headline-grabbing figure. Inflating the budget tag has long been used in global cinema as a PR strategy to signal uncompromised quality and force the industry to take notice. Now, I want to read out something very interesting, friends. That is, a person on Twitter has said, now Ramayan is marketed as global film based on whole social media views. So he's asking, where are the 800 million views? Surely not on YouTube. It is only paid hype. So if you look at it, it's very obvious that they're just trying to pay social media to give positive views on this movie. And anybody who says anything about how the actress looks, they'll say that, see, you are trying to build a north-south divide. I'm a South Indian, and I feel that this lady Sai is not at all suitable for a regal, beautiful Sita Devi. Okay. Now, what they say on Twitter, the people who are doing the PR say that, see, North Indians feel that, this sort of lady can't become a Sita Devi. It's not that. Let us not, build, unnecessary, narratives. This girl does not suit. It's a visual media. In a visual media, you are expected to fulfill the, the thoughts, the vision that people have of our own historic figures, our sacred books. Don't try to, confuse us with, and someone's as beautiful as, Shurpanaga, it becomes a Rakshasi. So this is all very, very, it's as if they are trying to mock Ramayan, and if you look at Ranbir, he doesn't have the kind of aura that Lord Ram has. And like I told you yesterday, when he was coming out of the airport, when people say, chanted Jai Shri Ram, he didn't even look at them. So it's okay to make money on the shoulders of Lord Ram, but you can't acknowledge the fact that, see, these fans are looking at you because they're thinking of you as Lord Ram. So even that attitude that Bollywood actors have, is it only money? Buy land. How much land is he going to live on? He has his houses in Mumbai. Is he going to, romp all over Ayodhya? So these are all questions. So the larger this thing is that, is there a money laundering angle as being, becoming viral in, X? That there is a money laundering angle to it. Now, I would request the ED to take this seriously and find out where this money is coming from and where is it going, and whether anybody is actually going to buy tickets when the movie is released. So these things have to be, looked at. And my request to the Indian government is, please do not give awards to this movie. Look at how they made the money and where the money is going, and is there any money laundering angle to it, and then please give your awards. Because even before we say anything, the first thing they do is they give a national award, to Ranbir and to these characters who don't even look like anybody from Ramayan. So so with this, we end the session. We'll see you tomorrow with a lot more news. Okay, there are some points that Sunita has said. I'll just take it. The Ramayana trailer looks okay, but I doubt the 4,000 crore budget, and Ranbir and Sai Pallavi don't fit the roles of Ram and Sita. That Ramayana and Mahabharata are not just epics for millions of Hindus, but emotionally connected since their childhood. And if filmed correctly, it is Bharat's soft power. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Sunita. Good night. Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.